What's the deal, my people? You know it is Don Tony Teflon, and I'm back at you with another one. And this one is Game of Thrones Season 8 predictions theories. But I am not alone. You know what I mean? Not this time, my people. What up to everybody in the chat? What up to everybody rocking with us? And as I said, you know, as I always do it, Thug Mug is in hand. You know who the man is. We chilling up in here. The Don Tony Teflon. I am not alone. I am with my right hand. And as always, my right hand is on the trigger. You ain't seen him in a while, but the dude is back with me. The king of the north, Emoji.
What's going on, folks? It's Moji, the king of the north. It's Mojini, baby. What's going on, Teflon?
What is the deal, Mojini, baby? We back up in this piece, baby. You know what it is. What up to the boy one? What up to my chat hit squad out there repping for me? What up to Self for Life? What up to the prince that wasn't promised? What up to the boy one? What up to F.E. Wolferton? What up to John Doe? What up to Thrones Volume? What up to everybody chilling out with us? Hey, yo, what up to AK-47? What up? You know what I mean? Mojini, baby. How you been, bro? How's everything?
Oh, man. It's been a little rough, but I'm feeling myself again, man. How's everything with you?
We chilling, man. We chilling. It's all good, baby. That's why we back up in this piece. And we talking about Season 8 now. We're going to talk about Cersei Lannister. We're going to talk about Jaime Lannister. We're going to talk about what we think is going to happen to them this season and how it's going to end to them. Now, obviously, we're taking all of questions out here. What up to Killmonger, chilling with us in the chat? You know what I mean? What up to Rebecca C? What up to Joanna K? So we're going to be talking about the Lannisters, what's going down. And we may throw some Tyrion in there, too, because I guess this is all we got with them. Do you think, Mojini, that out of all three of these Lannisters, how many of them do you think will survive? And I'm asking this to you in the chat, too. How many of the three Lannisters do you think will make it to the end?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Are we talking about the TV show? Are we talking about the books? Are we talking about both? What are we talking about?
Let's just go with the TV show right now. Out of these three Lannisters, we got Jaime, Tyrion, Cersei. How many will survive?
I'm going to go with one. I'm going to go with just Tyrion. Just for you know, if I rationalize everything in my head, the way I see everything going down, I see Tyrion being the last man standing from the Lannister clan. What about you?
You know, it's most looks like it will be one. I really believe that the House Lannister should be wiped out. So I'm going to go with 0. I don't think they should be around. I think they should get wiped out when it's all said and done. At least Tywin's line of House Lannister. So I'm going to say 0. A lot of the chat, Rebecca C says 1, Tyrion. We got a lot of people saying Tyrion is just and that's it. John says Tyrion. John D says Tyrion. Quentin says Tyrion. Nine Nichols says Tyrion. That's it. Rodri says Tyrion. Chrissy of Oldstones, the prince that wasn't promised. Joanna K, Tyrion. Scott McLeod says just Tyrion. So it really seems like most people think that Tyrion will survive. Now, that seems so predictable. If Tyrion makes it out of this, I just think that when we talk about George R. R. Martin, this non-fairy tale book he has, I would think that if we go through a fairy tale story, we have a child that wasn't loved by his parents, that was always rejected, a cartwheeling dwarf, all of a sudden rises to become hand of the king, goes through battle after battle, and all these grown-ass men, full-size people die, but he survives somehow, very quick with his tongue. And then at the end, he survives too. He makes it all the way to the end. That seems very storybookish to me. How do you feel about George R. R. Martin not doing storybook things? Would that be too storybook for him to do?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, this dude's like a cat. He's got 9 lives. I mean, he probably should have died maybe 3 times just in the first book. He should have died you know, during the war, the first war with Rob. You know what I mean? In one of the battles, he could have died in the Vale when he got, when he got scooped up by Liza. He could have even died in King's Landing by an assassin's guild. You know what I mean? This dude could have got up a couple of times, bro.
Yeah, there's no doubt that Tyrion, for people who should have been dead, he should have been dead. There's no doubt, and he has survived. I just think that it's quite possible that could be a fairy tale ending. I know people would like to say George R. R. Martin doesn't do that, but if he does do it this way, that would be a fairy tale type ending. But it's quite possible that Tyrion will make it to the end. So let's go right into it right now, Mojini. Let's start with obviously Cersei Lannister, because I think this is pretty easy. Everyone knows she's going to die. She has the prophecy of her being strangled to death. So it's just basically going to be who's going to be the person to do the deed, because I think we all agree that how she goes out must be strangulation. Now, do you think that the show is going to do the valonqar? We haven't seen it. Or you think they're going to go for something more hype, like maybe Cersei being eaten by a dragon?
They have to do the valonqar. The valonqar is like one of the top two theory prophecies that it just has to be resolved at this point. I did a video a really long time ago. I don't even remember the details, but I always thought it was going to be Brienne saving Jaime. And I remember your video on the topic. I mean, it was one of the first videos you did too. It's like they have to resolve that. I mean, the TV show already hinted to it many times, and them showing us Cersei's vision on the show when she was a kid just solidified that they're definitely going to give us that on the show, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that even though they have not showed that part of the prophecy yet, I do believe that they will show that. A lot of people always say, oh, they haven't shown that. They have to show it. I think they'll show it this season. They'll have another revised version of it, and Cersei will somehow think that maybe she'll be touching her baby, touching her stomach, and she'll start thinking of it. But I do believe that they definitely will show it. Now, I can see D&D, saying, hey, her getting killed this way may not be dramatic enough for Lena Headey. She deserves a bigger death, and I can see them switching it up so that she can be eaten by a dragon. I do believe someone has to be eaten by a dragon when this is all said and done, and it would be good for Cersei to get eaten by a dragon. I think that would be a good way for her to go out. But I hope they do the valonqar prophecy. I do believe they will do it, and I'm hoping that they do it. Because I believe that the valonqar myself is going to be Euron Greyjoy. I have multiple videos on it. Anyone wants to watch it, you can check it out. Just go on my channel. It's easy to find. I think it's Euron. Who do you think is the valonqar?
In my honest opinion, I do really think that Brienne loves Jaime so much that she's liable to be his hero at some stage in this story. And maybe when Jaime's out there with Cersei in King's Landing, Brienne shows herself. Maybe that's what I thought. Euron also is a great one. There's really about a top 4 of who could be the valonqar, and me and you definitely are on the right track.
No doubt. We got my man right here. Oh, who said that? Edric Stower said Mo just out of the black cells. Yeah, Mo is out of the black cells right now. We got, it took me a second to get in there and get him out, but I'm a faceless man, so, I got him out, you know what I mean? It took a second, but we got him out of that black cell, you know what I mean? But Mo, that is very interesting. That's why you rock with me, because you say stuff other people don't say. Now, we never heard of Brienne being the valonqar. People would not think that Brienne would be the one to strangle Cersei, but I can see exactly how you say it, especially with people always saying that they wanted that Arya could be the valonqar, that Arya could be the one. That's a very popular theory, that Arya could be the one to strangle Cersei. Why not Brienne? Brienne has every much as a reason to want to kill Cersei as Arya would. And I think that she could get the job done too. She's definitely strong enough to strangle Cersei to death. without a doubt. Mo.
Yeah, for sure. Certain, like the thing is, Brienne, we've known for a while now on the show her true feelings. In the books, it's a little cloudy, and for people that haven't read the books, we know where Brienne is now. You know what I mean? Spoilers. I don't know if I should get into it, but she's definitely in a sticky situation, but she can definitely get to King's Landing and handle Cersei if need be. I mean, it looks like Jaime's there already, so why not? Why don't you expand on Euron?
No doubt about it. Now, there's no doubt about that. Brienne could be the valonqar. Now, I believe that whatever happens in Winterfell doesn't matter with the Night's King. The Night's King's making his way all the way to King's Landing. There's no way they're going to stop him there. He's coming all the way down. That's going to happen. So there'll definitely be a chance for Brienne and Cersei to meet up. Now, the reason why I think it's going to be Euron, I think it's there. It's pretty obvious. If you look at the prophecy, the things they say in the prophecy, it says specifically, when your tears have drowned you. I don't believe that George R. R. Martin put that word in there to be cute. I think he put that drowned in there for a reason. There's no other reason in the show. You see, Euron Greyjoy says, here I am. I want to marry the most powerful woman in the world, the beautiful woman in the world. Here I am with two good hands. I think people could say it's a throwaway line, but this is not a throwaway line. It's in there for a reason. Euron is the guy. I'm not going to go through the whole prophecy. I could break it down much more, but just watch my video. But I do believe that I can't see it being anyone but Euron. Now, people may say that Euron's not big enough to do it. He's not big enough for the character, and that would be their reason why they don't think so. In the books, he's a much bigger character, and there's no way that this guy is portraying Euron as well as he's being portrayed in the books. So I can understand why people won't think it, but I do believe that it has to be Euron Greyjoy. Now, a lot of people think it's going to be Jaime Lannister, but it says, strangles you with your two hands. Jaime Lannister has one hand. I think that should be enough to make people believe that it's not going to be Jaime.
We both agree that the red herring is definitely Tyrion, right?
Yes, without a doubt. They're going to have Tyrion strangle two chicks in one series. It's not going down like that. You know what I mean? There's no way. Tyrion, she thinks it's going to be Tyrion. That's how you know 100% it can't be Tyrion.
Yeah. And I kind of feel like Jaime is like the red herring part due. You know what I'm saying? He's like the double throw off that George R. R. Martin is throwing in there. Because it's too obvious to be Jaime and Tyrion.
Yeah, I mean, come on now. Really? We're going to have Cersei Lannister get strangled by Jaime Lannister. That's how he's going to save the realm again, because now he goes back to the Mad King situation, and now he has to do it again with his own sister. No, that's not going to happen. He's not going to be known as the Kingslayer and the Queenslayer. He's not getting both of those titles. That's not Jaime's story. It's not a good story. It makes no sense to me for him to go that way or George to make it that way. So I really can't see it. I think people who want it to be Jaime are just big Jaime fans and hate Cersei. And that's why they think Jaime's going to do it.
I want y'all that doubt me on it being Brienne in the chat. Think about this. Brienne and Jaime Lannister fall in love. And Brienne at this point becomes the one who is the valonqar and gets the title of Queenslayer. And Jaime is the Kingslayer. And they both marry each other. You know how sick that is? Oh my God.
That's a different situation. Now I could see that jumping up. I could see Brienne getting the title Queenslayer, Jaime having the title Kingslayer. Now that's something completely I've never heard before. And I think but Jaime having double title, I can't see the double title, but I could see Brienne going out like that. Now, if Jaime is distracted that, because I'm gonna have a video and put that out there about that, because I think that people have this whole situation messed up with the Hound in the Mountain, and I'm gonna put my my 2 cents in there. But that was no joke, Mo Genie. I think that was a really good one, and I think it's quite possible it could go down like that. Now, I just did a video called "What Happens with Jaime." Not called this, but basically talking about what's going to happen to Jaime Lannister when he arrives at Winterfell. And I said that it's quite possible that there could be a trial by combat for Jaime Lannister. We've seen every other Lannister have a trial by combat, but we've never seen Jaime have one yet. People said that's not going to happen. Now, the reason why I'm getting in the comment section that people are saying it's not going to happen is people like, oh, Tommen outlawed trial by combat, so they're not going to do it. Listen, people, fuck Tommen and fuck what he outlawed, all right? The people in the North don't give a fuck about Tommen and what the fuck he said. If fucking Sansa Stark says trial by combat, that's what the fuck is going down. Trial by fucking combat. And if you look at the situation that Jaime is in the books, he's basically before Lady Stoneheart in a trial by combat situation with Brienne. That's how we think that's going to have to end right there. So why wouldn't they just transfer that over to Sansa Stark and use Jaime Lannister when he gets up there? What do you think about that, Mo? Is it possible that there could be a trial by combat for Jaime Lannister when he arrives at Winterfell?
Yeah, most definitely. I don't even know if anybody's listening to any of the laws that Tommen laid out anyway. Even if Tommen outlawed trial by combat, ain't nobody listening to that in the North. You know what I'm saying? You come down to the cold, cold North, or come down to it, ain't nobody listening to anything that's decreed in King's Landing. So anything that whoever's running Winterfell wants to do, whether that's Sansa or whether that's Jon, is going down. So if Jaime shows up unexpectedly and says, I'm trying to get on the team, I'm trying to get on your roster, Jon Snow, he's going to have to prove himself. And trial by combat might be the best way to prove himself.
Yeah, listen, if he gets backed up, he's got a lot of baggage, Jaime Lannister. Jaime Lannister is coming to the North, a place where he pushed Bran out the window, right? We have in the books, we see that when Roose Bolton stabs Robb Stark, he says straight up, Jaime Lannister sends his regards, right? This is what he hears. Mm-hmm. So it's a good chance that this is what he says, what Bran says to Jaime when he finally sees him, just like he said to Peter Baelish, chaos is a ladder. He may say to him, Jaime Lannister sends his regards. And that would be another reason why they would have, because the Lannisters have never been punished for this Red Wedding situation. They've gotten off scot-fucking-free for this. I mean, the Frey's been punished, but the Lannisters had it. So I think that someone's got to pay some dues for that shit eventually. What do you think?
If you people out there watching this show think that Jaime Lannister is just gonna ride into town, ride into Winterfell on a white horse, looking like a white knight, and Jon Snow embraces him, you're tripping. The first thing they're probably gonna do is as soon as Jaime shows up at the gates of Winterfell, Sansa's gonna throw him in the dungeon. She's gonna throw him in the crypts. And the thing is, what if Jaime admits to everything, man? What if Jaime straight up bends down on his knees and tells Jon everything? Tells him that he's the one who stabbed Robb, or he was part of the plan, part of the Red Wedding scenario. It was the Boltons, but the Lannisters are just as culpable. But what if Jaime lays down everything and then says, I looked out, I sent Brienne to go find Sansa and tried to protect her at one point. And then Jon forgives him. Because you remember, Jaime gave Brienne the sword. He gave her Wolf's Bane or Heart's Eater or whatever Joffrey's sword was, and said, go find Sansa. And Brienne will attest to that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, so basically, I that's a big conflict. So Jaime Lannister's got to get bagged up, but Brienne has to be. So if he chooses trial by combat, I think that Brienne is going to be the person that wants to represent for Jaime. She's going to be willing to fight for Jaime. You know what I mean? She may. I think that this would happen before Jon Snow got there, because Jon would probably be like, "Listen, we need all hands on deck right now. We can deal with this shit later." But I think he'll get there before that jumps off. And also, you got to remember too, this is the same guy that killed Daenerys' father. So when Jon and them get there, he's gonna have someone else. He's got to. Jaime Lannister's got beef with everybody. He's fucked over everyone. He's done something wrong to every fucking house that's in power in the North. Everyone. When you look at when he was at war with Robb Stark, and he chopped down everybody trying to get to Robb Stark. He killed all those Northern people. He killed Greyjoy people. He's fucking, the Tullys don't like him. He's killed the Mad King Aerys. He's got no love. He's got no love nowhere, and he's walking up in there into this trap. Jaime Lannister's in motherfucking trouble, and especially with fucking all-seeing ass Bran. You know what I mean? He's gonna say to him too, the things I do for love. He's gonna say all that shit to him, throw it right back in his face, and then Jaime Lannister's gonna get got.
This is the crazy thing. You literally have like the yellow page. You've got literally not the yellow pages. I mean, you've got the Google encyclopedia right next to you with Bran. So anything that Jaime says, Jon could just be like, if you're telling a lie, Bran's gonna get every vision right here and tell you what you said word for word. So spill it out and tell me the truth. Right? So there's no lying, and I don't think Jaime's gonna lie anyway. I'm pretty sure he's gonna throw himself on the floor and beg for forgiveness and say, yeah, I pushed Bran out the window. I did mad evil things during the Red Wedding. You know, really it was my father, but you know how it is. But what I was just thinking about right now is, does anybody know that Brienne has a sword? Has a Valyrian steel sword? And if they do, they're gonna ask her where she got it from. And if she says House Lannister, don't you think there's gonna be a conflict?
I think it's definitely going to be a conflict, especially if she wants to represent Jaime over Sansa, and she's over here rocking with Sansa. You know what I mean? She's Sansa. She swore her sword to Sansa, and now all of a sudden she wants to fight for Jaime Lannister. That's definitely going to have to be some beef right there. So I think there's no doubt going to be conflict. You know, especially if Arya says she wants to fight for Sansa, and then you have Brienne having to go up against Arya. I don't know how it would play out. It could be a situation where they're about to fight. Jon Snow walks in and says, "What's going on here?" And it all stops, or the White Walkers are about to attack when it's about to go over, and then that's how it ends. But I do believe that there's got to be major drama when Jaime Lannister shows up at Winterfell. I don't think there's any way around it.
Nah, and anybody who fights her has to fight with a Valyrian steel sword. Because if they try to fight her with a regular sword, that joint's getting shattered, son.
Yeah, that wouldn't even be fair for her to fight other people. You know what I mean? That's why Arya's got the Valyrian steel dagger. So she could fight her with that dagger, and they already had a little sparring session already that could have been a force that one. But I think Arya take her out if she fights Arya. Hey, but that brings up we're not going to do Arya. I was going to talk about Arya Stark, but we're not going to be talking about the Lannisters. We're still dealing with them. Jaime most likely is the most interesting of them all. Thank you, OTDA, for putting the Patreon link in there. And thank you for being a great mod out there. I really do appreciate it. What up to Renee M, House Stark in the building? What up to Rebecca C? What up to Chris Weinberg? What up to everybody? John Doe, everybody out here chilling with us right now, rocking with us, talking about goddamn Game of Thrones Season 8, the Lannisters, House Lannister, how it's going to end for all of them, and what we expect to see.
Somebody's got a good question in the chat. They say, is Jaime even going to make it back to Winterfell before the Night's King gets there? Is he going to make it to Winterfell before the Night's King gets there?
Yeah, I think they definitely will have him there. I don't think the Night's King is – I mean, from what the episodes look like, that Miguel Sapochnik, I think he's directed episode 3. So I think that's the first one he's doing. So that's when the battle will be there. So I think Jaime will be there before when it starts, in episode 1 or 2. Jaime would be at the war. I mean, be at Winterfell. So, and that the battle of the Night King won't be till episode 3. I think it's 3 and 6 or something like that. The way it's set up. So, yeah, no doubt he'll definitely make it there.
It'll be dope if Tormund and Jaime make it to Winterfell at the same time, show up at the same time. You got Tormund talking about the Night's King. You got Jaime talking about what's coming from King's Landing. And it's just everybody's descending on Winterfell.
Yeah, they all gonna get in there, and then they're all gonna have to bounce from there. I think it's just a bad thing. You can't put all your army in one spot, and I think that's gonna be their downfall. You know what I mean? Because it's gonna be like ducks in the pond waiting to get plucked. And I think that's what's gonna happen when the Night King gets there. It's gonna be a wrap for him. You know what I mean? But I do believe that Jaime Lannister is an idiot, and he's setting himself up for a big trap. And I can't wait to see him. I hope he gets got. I wish they would kill him. I don't think Jaime's gonna die there at all. I think that this could lead to, in the end, Jaime. I said before that I think all of House Lannister dies. I think this could lead to Jaime Lannister taking the Black in the end, and that basically would be an end because he won't have any titles to claim. So it would be an end of the Tywin line of House Lannister if Tyrion and Cersei died and Jaime Lannister took the Black. And I think this will lead to him taking the Black. He'll agree to take the Black at this particular time after the war, and then that's what he'll do when it's all said and done. He'll take the Black.
This might sound really obvious, and it's probably been said a million times, but it just seems so right that when the Lannister forces come behind Winterfell, show up eventually after they're chasing Jaime or whatever, and then you got the Night's King coming from the north. So you got Jon's forces getting hit from the rear and the front. I feel like eventually Jon and them are going to convince the living forces, which are the Lannister forces that are his enemies, to join up with him to fight against the Night's King. What you think?
I think it's possible. I mean, you would have to have something like that go on, because I think that most of whatever happens in Winterfell, when it's all said and done in Winterfell, I think most of the deaths that we're going to see this season, I think, happen in this first battle of Winterfell. I think that's the majority of deaths. I think they're going to get rid of everyone who's going to gets got right off the bat. So I'm talking Grey Worm, all secondary characters, Podrick Payne. If Missandei's going to go, if any of them are all going to go, I think it all goes in this battle of Winterfell and trying to escape from the battle of Winterfell. I think that's where most of the major people will die. And then I think the second battle will be with the Golden Company army at King's Landing. I think that it's quite possible that Jon Snow and them could get into a battle with the Golden Company going down there. And then the Night's King come on their ass, and then they have them to join forces and just to survive. Or a situation like that could go down.
Yeah. I mean, we don't even know who's going to be, commanding the Lannister forces, because it was Jaime, and now we don't know. Uncle, whatever his name was, is dead. So whoever's going to be commanding them Lannister forces, I'm pretty sure
it's got to be Euron. I mean, Euron's that's her boo, right? That's her man right there. So it's got to be Euron. There's no doubt about it. What up to Adana Vice and Fire chilling with us in the chat? What up to Lala42 chilling with us? What up to Peter Griffin chilling with us? What up to Vinny Rand chilling with us? You know what I mean? But yeah, it's got to be. There's no other person I can see that's going to take control. It's got to be him, unless they have casted like the leader of the Golden Company. Is it Harry Strickland? I do believe is casted. So I think he'll have a role to play, but I don't think he's going to have a major role to play. So I think when it's all said and done, it's most likely going to have to be Euron. That's the only one she has.
No spoilers. I haven't read any spoilers. I haven't done any of that. I'm just taking a wild guess in the dark. Is Fagon showing up, you think?
No.
Yeah, definitely not.
No, it's too late in the game. It's too late in the game to bring him in. If they would have brought him in last season, or at least hinted at him with berries, at least something, you know what I mean? They had too much to do over there for them to go back and bring this kid in with the Golden Company and say, "Surprise, Cersei, I'm really Rhaegar's son," and stab her or something like that, or chase her out of King's Landing. I just can't see that going down with that. It's just too late in the game for him.
Oh, Melisandre. Damn, man. That they had Melisandre. Oh man, she told Varys about everything. She knows what happened to him. Do we get that resolved next season?
Yeah, we definitely got to see them both get killed next season. That's without a doubt. Varys can't make it to the end. Melisandre can't make it to the end. Magic's gonna die when it's all said and done. This chick is already dead. And see, this is something that I'm doing a video on this, but I'm gonna talk about it real quick. You know, people, you got people out there. You gotta understand what's going on here. All right. People be hitting me up. You know what I mean? They'd be like Tony Teflon the Don. No, these people are. Jon Snow was brought back to life. These people are not being brought back to life. They're being raised from the dead. Now, there's a difference, at least in my opinion. There's a difference between being brought back to life or raised from the dead. All right? Jon Snow is raised from the dead. Catelyn Stark is raised from the dead. When you see them and they still have their physical scars that they had when they got killed, that to me means you are raised from the dead. Mo, do you believe that, or am I bugging him? Because people keep telling me that these dudes are brought back to life. That is not brought back to life here. I think what it brought back to life to me means you ain't got no scars, you ain't got nothing. You good. You know what I mean? But these dudes ain't good. They still got everything on.
Yeah, they definitely not. There, it's definitely black magic. It's black magic being involved. It's not good magic. It's black magic. It's dark magic. It's the dark arts. It's just that's what it is. They're not. They're being brought back from the dead. They expired. You know what I'm saying? This isn't like a Jesus move. This is more like a ghouls and goblins move. You know, zombie move. They're really zombies in all when it's all said and done.
That's all they are. That's all they are. They are the exact same fucking things of these goddamn White Walkers that we thralls that we see that the White Walkers come around. They just haven't been dead as long. There's no difference to me. You know, like only difference is that Jon Snow was able to take a shower and get all the blood off it. You know what I mean? And he's willing to take a shower. If those zombies out there that got killed in a hard home were willing to take a goddamn shower and get that fucking dried up blood off their ass, right? If they just put that soap between their butt cheeks and wash their ass up a little bit, I think they come out looking like Jon Snow with some blue ass eyes. It'd be the same goddamn situation. And I think that's what people really gotta look at this dude. These dudes are zombies. You know what I mean? Walking around trying to save the goddamn day. But in the end, Dany fucked the dead man. I mean, you have to look at it like that. When Dany had sex with Jon, she fucked the dead dick. And that's it. Was she sucking dead dick? I don't know. We're gonna see in the books. We know how she gets down from Dario. So you know how she's willing to do it all over the place, right? So listen, if she's into that dead dick, then that's all her. It's good with her. And I'm not trying to discriminate against people with dead dicks or anything like that, or zombie fucking. If you're into zombie fucking and you ain't hurting nobody, I'm not trying to stop you from doing what's in the privacy of your own home or your boat. Do what the hell you gotta do. But people must realize what the fuck it truly is and look at it for what it is. What you say, Mo?
Isn't that necrophilia? It's definitely necrophilia. She definitely likes digging with the dirt. You know what I mean? She likes that dirty dick. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
that
yeah.
deep down below. You know what I mean? It's unbelievable, man. I don't even think Jon can have kids. Can a zombie have kids? He's soulless.
This is the problem that we're having here because it seems like she's pregnant. That's what everyone's saying. But how when George R. R. Martin says himself that Jon Snow at Beric that Jon Snow is Beric Dondarrion, and Beric Dondarrion's blood has stopped beating, or anything is in him, and he has nothing left in him. That's the way Jon's supposed to be. He's hideous. He's getting more hideous as the days go by. That's what Jon is supposed to be. He's supposed to be decaying as the days go by. He should be getting now, unless he just has a goddamn load in him that just stayed there when he died, and he had that one last shot when he fucked her, and that is all he has. Maybe that is what happened. That's the only way see it why she's pregnant. He must have had one hell of a load when he died left in him. Maybe he was jerking off. He didn't get a chance to finish. It was right there, and it just got lodged there. And maybe he was just able just to push that last load out right then. That's the only way it will go down for me. We got a couple of super chats here. Let me shout them out real quick. My man is sucking dead dick chair. Cheer! You know, listen, that's the way she is. Rebecca C., thank you for the super chat as well. You know what I mean? That's the way I see it, Mo. I can't see it any other way. We have to say what this truly is, right? Necrophilia or whatever. It must be called out. People want to say because they're good looking, this is not what it is, you know. But we must call this what it is. We must say this for the truth. That's what you get here on Teflon TV. That's what you get when you're dealing with the barbarians. You know what I mean? When you're dealing with the barbarians here, we got to give it to you raw. Is that not right, Mo Genie?
It's the bareback barbarians do what we do. Yes, sir.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. So getting back to this situation with Jaime Lannister, and we're dealing with them. So how do you feel it's going to end for Jaime Lannister? You think Jaime Lannister is going to die? I do believe. How do you think Jaime Lannister dies?
Well, I don't see him dying at Winterfell. I think he's gonna get a pass. However that happens, whether it's from Brienne, whether it's from Jon, whatever, he's gonna get a pass. If he dies, it's gonna be when he's back in conflict with Cersei, which obviously goes back to the valonqar stuff. But he won't be the valonqar. But I see him dying after the battle at Winterfell.
I hear you. I hear you. As I said, I think that Jaime Lannister is going to join the Night's Watch. I think that's how he makes it out of it. I think Jaime Lannister will save Jon Snow's life by stabbing the Night's King in the back. As we know, he is known as the Kingslayer. From doing that, he will use the same maneuver to distract the Night King, just like Howland Reed did to save Ned Stark. He will do that to save Rhaegar's son, and then that is how that will allow Jon Snow to kill him. That will allow Jaime Lannister to live and take the black at the end. Because remember, when we first see Jaime Lannister, he was dissing the Night's Watch, saying they sucked compared to the King's Guard. Now he really knows the truth, and he'll be honored to go up there. I think him and Jorah Mormont, in the end, Jorah Mormont will be the Lord Commander. But I think those two guys would be the ones to be at the Night's Watch. I know a lot of people say, oh, there's not going to be a need for the Night's Watch because the Night's King is going to die. Listen, there will be more need for the Night's Watch because now you know that it's real. And now you don't, he may be dead, this guy, but you know that it's a possibility that it could really happen again. And that'll make people really want to go up there. I mean, there have been battles won in wars, and the wars are over, but people still man the force because they know it could happen again, even though the war is over, right? It'll be a situation like that, and that's the way it goes down. I do believe with Jaime Lannister. That's the way it is. Hashtag Night King Slayer, Jaime Lannister. Yeah. Check out my video. Anyone who ain't seen that, you can check it out. I got a 2-part video on that. Jaime Lannister ending, Jaime Lannister, Night King Slayer.
I've never heard anybody come up with say that Jaime's gonna do what Howland Reed did, and save Jon, and Jon being the Ned Stark position. You know what I mean? And they kill the Night's King. That's pretty sick. There's definitely gonna be a need for the Night's Watch. People who think the Night's Watch won't exist, it's definitely gonna exist even if they kill the Night King, because they're still gonna, because the reason, you gotta realize the magic's not gonna die. Like that magic from the Night's King is gonna go back into the lands of always winter and go hiding again for another 1,000 years. You know what I mean? They're gonna like show us a clip of Craster's sons or something hiding up there. You know what I mean? There's gonna be another Night King. There's no way that there just won't be a Night's Watch anymore.
All right, let's go here. OTDA asked this question real quick. He says, so did the dragon glass in the heart only work because of the children's magic, or could another human do dragon glass thing and to make another? I don't know why. I think that right then you have to say it has something to do with the children, but I do believe that it could work if the right person is handling it. I think dealing with Bran Stark, if the children, if Bran Stark is there and like he touches it and infuses it with some type of situation. Now we have not seen the children actually infuse things with magic, but we know that things can be infused with magic because we see the glamoring effect. So I do believe that if Bran Stark would have to do this to the dragon glass. Now, Mo, I just recently did a video on this situation on Daenerys Targaryen's death, and I said I do believe that Jon Snow is going to kill her, but I think that it's a good possibility that she will be saved the same way Benjen Stark was saved when she was about to die by getting a piece of dragon glass shoved into her heart. And that would stop her, kind of like a dragon glass pacemaker. Check out that video if you have not watched it. It's called forgot what it's called, but I just put it out. Check it out. Oh, ending nobody thought of for Daenerys Targaryen. There's a name day. Wait a second. Kevin's birthday is in the building right now, so happy birthday, Kevin. You know what I mean? No doubt, Mojini. How do you feel about that?
Happy name day, Kevin Wilson. Definitely on board with that. We already saw John collecting all the dragon glass from Dragonstone, yoking it up like Stannis was gonna do. Because you remember, Stannis was already thinking about taking all the dragon glass out of Dragonstone. So where's all that dragon glass gonna go? You know that John is gonna make whoever is the blacksmith at Winterfell tip everybody's weapons with that dragon glass, and somebody's gonna get yoked with it in the heart.
No doubt. So you got Gendry, and most likely will make all the weapons from dragon glass. He's got to be the guy to do it. That's the role. Most likely Gendry's there to play. So we see Gendry. He'll make some arrow. I think it'll most likely be arrows tipped, because if you look at D&D, they said that when they did the Battle of Bastards, they wanted to do the Battle of Agincourt. Now, I'm sure that I am saying this wrong, all right? So do not fuck with me on the pronunciation, motherfucker, all right? So whoever's thinking about putting that in the comments, know that I'm most likely pronouncing it wrong, and I'm still saying it. I don't give a fuck, all right? So don't put that there. So I know they want to do the Battle of Agincourt, and in that battle, they weren't able to do it because Miguel Zapata said that it was going to take too long for them to shoot, and they did not have the budget to do it. So they had to settle on the Battle of the Bastards. All right. And in that battle, the way that battle is won, spoilers for the Battle of Agincourt, is that it was an arrow volley from the long bowmen that were able to pick off most of the people that they were fighting and stop it. And it's basically regarded the end of old school medieval warfare, the way they just smash into each other and fight each other. So I do believe that from them saying, when you hear them saying already that they're going to have every child and every little kid arm themselves in how to shoot archery, that's what we're going to get a lot of. We're going to get a lot of archers like Indian style in the trees, in the woods, shooting these dragon glass tips arrows at all the White Walkers and all the White Walkers minions. I think that's how it, in the end, how it basically will be done. And that's what I think will go down right there. What up to everybody chilling with us, man? Definitely gets to showing us love. I appreciate it. You know what I mean? FB, Celtic for life, chilling. Everybody up here chilling with us. Definitely enjoy y'all. Thank you for coming out here with us and rocking with us right now. And talking about Jaime Lannister, talking about the Lannisters in general, talking about how it's going to end for the Lannisters when it's all said and done. Dealing with, I think we have gone through a lot with dealing with Jaime. I think we talked a little bit about Tyrion and Cersei and stuff like that. So we can definitely go into the chat. Mojini? Mojini's on break right there. So while
My
Mojini's
bad. My bad.
so
What'd you say?
no, I'm just saying we have talked about a lot about Jaime Lannister. We've talked about a lot about Cersei. Tyrion is really the one that is the hardest to call them all. A lot of people, I don't think anyone's going to think that Tyrion's going to die. I just think that if Tyrion lives, going back to what I said before, it's too much of a fairy tale. I don't care that he's George R. R. Martin's favorite character. It just doesn't sit right to me if Tyrion is the one who lives throughout this whole situation. I would rather see anyone else of the Lannisters live but Tyrion decision. Not that he's a bad guy. I just think it would be best for the story if Tyrion Lannister died. What up, Max Power?
Yeah. Man, I'm kind of torn. I really don't want to see Tyrion die. Just because he's one of like my favorite characters in the book and the show. I mean, if it's to progress somebody else's story, so be it. If you got to kill Tyrion, I just don't want it to be non-climactic and just be an average death.
Yeah, I don't want him to get shot by like a stormtrooper. You know what I mean? He can't just go out. I don't want to see him get Boba Fetted and just go out like Boba Fett, like a stupid way like that. It's got to be epic if he goes out. But I wouldn't mind seeing like the undead mountain smash his skull in. I wouldn't mind seeing the undead mountain just grab him up by the feet, just like one did to that guy at the Night's Watchman, and just smash him around like that. I would love to see the mountain do that, and then Cersei get his ass. I think Cersei needs some wins because I don't think Cersei has gotten enough wins in this whole situation. You know what I mean? I think she deserves a couple of more wins before she goes out. And if she was able to get the best, or for Tyrion, someone who believes he's so much smarter than her all the time, and in the end he just wasn't smart enough, I wouldn't mind seeing Tyrion get got like that. That would be good for me. Yeah, and all the people who get mad I said that about Tyrion, so what?
I mean, I mean, it's just a hard character to kill, in my opinion. I mean, he's so intricate and needed for so many different storylines in the story that, like, if he goes out, it's not gonna be like Stannis on the show. You know what I mean? If you kill Tyrion, you're gonna be deading a lot of stuff in theory world.
No doubt about it. No doubt. We got. Let me just say real quick. What up to Moni G chilling in the chat with us right now, holding it down. We have a question from Lala42. How will Rhaegal be killed? Where with arrows? Question mark. So what do you think about the undead dragon, my man? We got this undead dragon flying around. We know that it has to fall at some point. How does this dragon fall?
Definitely gonna fall from one of Danny's dragons. I don't know how. Is it gonna die with John riding one of them, and John, stabs it in the heart with Longclaw? Who the hell knows? But it's definitely gonna get got with somebody riding one of the other dragons.
Yeah, I think that the Night's King dragon doesn't die until later. So I think that in the end, it's gonna come down to Drogon and the undead dragon, right? I think the other dragon has to get taken out of Winterfell. Danny's gonna lose two dragons. Listen, if Danny lost two dragons and he was able to resurrect another dragon and have two dragons fighting, that would be phenomenal. But in the end, I think that it has to come down to Drogon, and this one dragon. I can't see them double teaming them forever. You know what I mean? I think it has to come down to that before it's all said and done. And I do believe that that dragon definitely makes it to King's Landing. Now, in the books, when we're dealing with the books, it's a different situation because we know Euron has the horn. He's given it to Victorion. I do believe that that's going to play a factor. I do believe that it will work, and I do believe Euron himself will get a dragon in the books. Now, I don't know how much of that they will show in the show. That would be great if they did show that in the show, and Euron did have the horn, and he had a dragon, and now everybody had one dragon apiece. That would be a great show. I would wish they would go that route. Don't know if they would do that. But Moji, would you have rather seen Euron with the dragon horn in the show? Do you think it was bad for them to leave that out? And asking you in the chat the same question.
It was definitely bad for them to leave that out because they hinted to it on the show way back in season 1 or 2 when Sam and John found those artifacts when they were ranging up north when they was going to Crasters or whatever. You know, Sam found that broken horn, and they basically gave us the cookie crumbs. They was leaving the cookie crumbs for season 8 or season 7 by giving us that cookie crumb. And just to leave that out and forget about that Sam found those artifacts just makes no sense. So what was the point of you showing us that then? You don't give us a cookie crumb like that unless you're going to give us the whole cookie later.
Exactly. That's what they try and do. I think that they set that horn up for some reason and didn't pay it off. I don't know if they're going to go back to it. I don't know if they're going to go back to it. I really don't. They should, but I really don't know if that's what they're going to go. If they're going to go that route to go back to that horn. They should have had that horn. Now, whether that was the dragon binder horn, whether that was supposed to be the horn of winter to bring down the wall, we don't know exactly what horn it was supposed to be. But why would the Night's Watchman have the horn that brings down the wall unless they're trying to just protect it? Maybe they knew, and maybe that was put. You know, there's going to be a lot of time traveling situation going on with Bran Stark and everything else. And I think we're going to see a lot of that this season dealing with that. So you don't know who put that horn there in the first place. Yeah. I think that in the books we'll find that out, but I don't think they're going to go that way in the show.
Yeah, I mean, we're supposed to be meant to think that Uncle Benjen left those artifacts up north for whoever came after him, or he was burying it there and gonna come back to it. But I definitely think that was the Horn of Winter. Now, the Dragon Binder horn, I think on the show, if they ever pay that off, I feel like Theon or his sister or whoever should bring that thing on to the show and be the one who brings out Dragon Binder. What if that's Theon's little mission?
That would be great. It's easy. They could always say that you could bring it in. You could say the Golden Company captain has it. You could say that the Golden Company, while Dany was doing her thing down there, someone sent the Golden Company on this mission to find it, and they have it with them when they come to King's Landing. That would be an easy way to introduce it and have it, and just have someone blow it. That's all you really have to do. And then you would have Euron on Dragon back too. That would be great. I think it'd be a lot better to see that. You know, I think in the show though, most likely we'll see that. I mean, the books will see that, and I think that's good possibility. Also, in the books, you'll see Euron have a Kraken raised from the sea that we won't see in the show. I wish we would see something like that in the show, but I don't think we'll see that in the show either.
Man, speaking of Theon, is he dying next season or what, man?
He better. He better.
He's got to go.
He's definitely got to go. I think he's got. When you deal with Theon Greyjoy, Jaime Lannister, these are characters with dirt on their hand. Unless they're gonna take the black when it's all said and done, I don't know how they could definitely see it. We have Kevin Wilson asked this question, the birthday boy. He says, "Will we see a battle above the God's Eye?" Do you think that they're going to show a battle above the God's Eye when it's all said and done?
You know what? It's possible. You know, the show's notorious for not paying off certain things and staying away from a lot of book stuff. Um, but this might be something that, you know, is worth showing to the public. You know, it's the last season. Why don't you, you know, give us the goodies?
Yeah, you know, I would think that I don't know because they haven't showed anything of the God's Eye yet. They mentioned it, but they haven't really shown anything of it. Every time they've showed the children of the forest, it's been around that stone statue beyond the wall. They haven't really done anything with the God's Eye, so I don't know if they would all of a sudden just bring that up and say he's trying to make it to the God's Eye. It's quite possible that they would. And if they try to kill the God's Eye, he's trying to get there because that kills all of the children of the forest power, and that's what he's trying to do. If they do that, I could see them doing that easily. It makes a lot of sense for them to do that, but I don't know if they will go that route just because they have not shown it yet. They have brought it up once, I think, but I would think they would have had, you know, they could have showed the White Walkers being created at the God's Eye. If they would have did that, then I would say without a shadow of a doubt that's they're going to show it. But the fact that they didn't and they just had him out there by the rocks makes me think that most likely they will not. What up to Sailor Diva chilling with us in the chat?
If they bring us Howland Reed next season, that's gonna be the best way to introduce him is have him chilling at the God's Eye or refer to the God's Eye or say something about him chilling with the children of the forest. That's how you
Uh,
bring Howland Reed back.
yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that. Bring Howland Reed back. He could bring up the God's Eye. He could say something about it. But if you bring, I mean, because when it comes down to it with the Jon Snow identity situation, who is going to believe what Bran Stark has to say? Who is going to believe? We see what Cersei Lannister has done with papers in the past. Who's going to really believe that this is really what happened to Jon Stark is really a Targaryen? I mean, will the High Lords really uh, go with that or want to believe in that? You know what I mean? I don't know if they really would go with that or anything like that. You know, they would need someone else, someone else they could trust. Howland Reed could be that guy that could speak up and say, "Hey, this is what I remember seeing, and this is what it is." What
Yeah.
up? You know, going.
Yeah. It's they've shown us bits and pieces of the Children of the Forest. I mean, they gave us when the Raven was doing, you know, Matrix stuff with Bran when they were doing their visions. You know, they gave us bits of the children of what they when they were creating the Night's King. So we got to get those, man. That's flashback stuff. I mean, are we gonna get flashbacks next season? That should be the core of the question.
Yeah, I think they have to show us something. I mean, we have to see some type of flashback, something. I mean, we have to definitely see. I think Rhaegar go out. We know that Rhaegar is in this season coming up. So the only reason why he could be in this season is for a flashback. So I think the flashback we have to see of Rhaegar is probably him dying at the Trident, unless they're going to show something of the tourney of Harrenhal. But I think most likely, if you have to pick one or the other, I think it's no doubt we have to see him dying at the hands of Robert Baratheon.
There, see, man, they always do something a season behind when they were supposed to show it. I feel like the Tourney of Harrenhal flashback should have been shown last season, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go with showing us Tourney of Harrenhal footage this season because that's what they do. They're always a season behind when they're supposed to show stuff.
Yeah, I think they are a little bit late on their reacting and stuff, and they have been. I easily could see why you say that. There's definitely things they could have introduced earlier that they introduced later. But if we get it, we get it. I would like to see it. So I hope we get it. What better late than never, I guess we could say. Even when you look at the Maggie the Frog situation, I think that should have been introduced a lot earlier too. But they did it later and stuff. So a lot of the storylines that got pushed back, this for show purposes and stuff. So I think it's definitely going down like that with definitely a couple of things. But I really want to see the tourney of Harrenhal. I wouldn't care if they devoted a full fucking episode to that whole shit. If they took a whole episode and did a whole flashback of the full entire tourney of Harrenhal from beginning event, the Starks going Howland Reed and showing his perspective, going down there all the way, everything going out till the end of it all to Rhaegar Lyanna, Night of the Laughing Tree, everything. I would take that for an episode this upcoming season, and I would not be disappointed with it. I would love to see that if they did that.
That's the only way to give it justice. You can't do Attorney of the Harrenhal flashback for 5 minutes. You can't do Attorney of the Harrenhal flashback for 15 minutes. There's too much that went on at the Attorney of Harrenhal. You understand? They gotta show the king. They gotta show Benjen Stark joining the Night's Watch when he saw that Night's Watch member doing his thing. They gotta show us Lyanna and Ray. They got so much stuff in the Tourney of Harrenhal. They gotta show Barristan and Selmy fighting dudes off in the melee. Like, there's so many things that go on. You can't do 5, 10, 15 minutes. You can't even do 30 minutes. The only way to do it justice is a whole episode, man.
Yeah, I would definitely see a Blackwater Bay type episode of that. Carrie says that Carrie, I'm sorry. She says that there's no reason to show the tourney. I agree and disagree. Yes, you could say there's no reason to show it. You don't have to see it. Is it more of me wanting to see it? Possibly. But I do believe that they need to cement Rhaegar and Lyanna's relationship a little more. Even though they showed them get married and they showed the hands go down, I do believe they had to show a little bit more. So I think that the tourney at Harrenhal will provide that, and that's the reason why I think that they will show it, if anything. I think that would be the reason for them to show it, mostly to see that. It's to show that Robert's rebellion was definitely based on a lie, and that's the reason why. So that's why I would think that they would have to show it. But I definitely think we definitely need to see that. OTDA said if one episode opens at the tourney, I'll go off. That would be great. You know, if you just set it off at the tourney and you're going down and you see Howland Reed. You see, in these prequel series coming out that they're doing, right? If they did a whole prequel series, I think if they did it, what was that show on HBO? True Criminal, True Crimes, where it's just like one season was one season and that was it, and didn't continue, and they showed something else. If they did something like that on HBO for A Song of Ice and Fire, I would like that more than just a straight series where they just did 1 year was just one storyline. Like you could do 1 year, you could just do the black versus the greens, and then you could do another year. You could do the Rise of Khal Drogo if that's what people want to see. And you could do another year of this Targaryen king. You could do another year of just the tourney at Harrenhal. It's all in one season, and that's it. I would love to see that more than just a show based on something and just going over and over and over season after season after season. I think that it would be much better if they did a show like that. Yes, and you could do Robert's Rebellion for one season and be done with it, and then do something else like that. What do you think about that, Mo?
Yeah, I mean, that's the best way to do it. I mean, you got to have time enough to develop storylines. You got to have enough time to develop characters. Some people are going to be new to the show. I mean, who knows? I mean, these prequels, you got to do it like you're doing it for the first time, like they did for season 1 of Game of Thrones. They got to do detail by detail. Basically, the season 1 of Game of Thrones was word for word book 1. They didn't skip one thing, and that's how the prequels got to be if they do a prequel.
No doubt. Vinny Perez, what up, homie? What's up to hanging out here? Thank you for coming out here and chilling with us. Yeah, I think it would be much better if they did it that way. I don't think we're going to get it that way, but I think they should have thought about doing it like that way and everything else. Let's go take a couple more questions from the chat. Even though the longer we go, the more people keep coming. You know, we don't want to end and stuff like that, but we do got to bounce soon. So if you do have questions for us, please put them in the chat right now. Hey, you know, Mo Genie, we back. We're gonna be back up in here with y'all, doing more live streams and stuff like that. So definitely, definitely looking forward to doing that and stuff like that. John Doe asks, how is Euron going out? Euron's got to die. We know he has to die. How, Mo Genie, do you think Euron dies?
By Jon's sword. It's probably gonna be a fight at Winterfell. He's probably gonna die at the end of the battle at Winterfell, whatever, however they want to do that battle. And then Jon scoops up the Lannister forces after he kills Euron, in my opinion.
Jon Snow kills everybody, so it's a good shot that Jon Snow will be the one to take out Euron. You know, Euron could be the guy who gets eaten by the dragon in the end. He can get eaten by a dragon too. I could see him going out like that. It's definitely got to be something bloody and befitting him, because for all the wrong he's done. I don't think that Theon taking him out or Asha taking him out is fitting enough. I don't think they'll be the ones to do it. It's got to be bigger than that. So I think most likely it'd be. I'm going to say Euron gets eaten by a dragon. Let's go with that one. Soup Kitchen gave an ask, what's your favorite crackpot theory on what's in the crypts of Winterfell? What do you think is in the crypts of Winterfell? Crackpot theory, Mo Genie, what do you think is going on in there?
Crackpot theory. I'm gonna go with Rhaegar's harp. I definitely don't think Rhaegar's harp in there is there, so that's gonna be the crackpot one for me. I really believe that, you know, the Sword of the Morning is down there. House Dane's sword is down there, in my opinion. I believe you have your own separate one on that. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with the harp. The harp is the crackpot one.
Well, I made up that crackpot. The harp is my crackpot theory, so I'll hold that. I'll take that to the chest all day. I'm sticking with the harp. If you want to call it crackpot all you want. I'm chilling with the harp. The harp is down there. That's
you said. I thought your number one on that, on what's down there, is Rhaegar's armor. I thought the armor was yours.
I said the harp and the armor. Those were the two things I put out there. I said the harp, two things would be in there, the harp and the armor.
You can't pick two things down there.
Why can't I pick two? I picked two back then. I'm sticking.
What you think is a treasure chest down there?
Listen, it's a big ass spot. It ain't like you can't lay one on top of the other. It ain't like the armor got the harp taking up the whole motherfucker and the armor taking up there's space. Shaggy Dog's ass was goddamn up in there easy and jumped his ass up there. There's enough space in there for that to be in there. But I do believe that it will not be the armor. But the reason why I thought it would be the armor is this. Because when they see Jon has a dream of him armored in black ice fighting off the White Walkers. I thought that black armor was his father's armor. Then they released the Forsaken chapter, and then they showed Euron in Valyrian steel black armor, and that's when I realized that Jon was wearing Euron's armor on that wall, and that was the armor that he was wearing. So it's not his father's armor, it's Euron's armor, which leads me more credence that Jon Snow will kill Euron Greyjoy to get that armor. In the books, no doubt, Jon's going to have that armor to fight the Night's King, the Valyrian steel armor. In the show, I don't know if they're going to go that far with it. But we are here still taking the questions. No quicker questions. What happened, Mo?
Yeah, I mean, dang. I mean, people keep wanting to say, you know, Chrissy's in the chat saying Don's back at Starfall. I mean, come on, guys. How hard is it for Ned to have took the Sword of the Morning back to Winterfell? It's not that hard.
I agree. I agree with you. There's no way. People are saying that mostly because George R. R. Martin said that. George R. R. Martin has to say that. If he says anything else, it gives it away. So he has to say it's there. it's a good possibility that that sword is in there. That it's in the crypt. It's a good possibility because definitely that sword has a bigger role to play in the books than it does in the show. In the show, I admit that it's not trying to complicate things, but it definitely has definitely a bigger role to play.
It's got to be down in the crypts. Who's ever going to go back to Starfall in the books or in the show? Nobody's going to Starfall to get that sword. So why would the sword be there? There's no reason.
Only if Darkstar like stole the sword or something, then later on got taken out while he had it. I think it would be a situation like that.
That's the only way, because there's no reason to show Starfall again in the show or the books.
Or Edric Dane, Edric Storm, whatever, Edric. Ned.
It logically makes so much sense that Ned took it back to Winterfell and put it in the crypts.
It does. Especially if this chick was just going to jump off the tower and kill herself. Why would she take the sword back from him and then kill herself? For what? She would say, hey, just take that sword with you and protect yourself with it, then kill herself. Makes much more sense if she did something like that than her taking the sword. Why wouldn't she take the sword and stab herself with it instead of throwing herself from her legs? It just doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean?
Somebody in the chat says, Killmonger, the Rebel 313 says, ask Bran, he can find it. And yeah, he probably could. But there's gonna be nobody that could ask Bran that question because nobody knows anything about the Sword of the Morning that's still alive right now, other than a few people, and they have no reason to talk about it. Ned's really the only person that would have brought that topic up, and he's dead.
No doubt about it. So I would say thank you for everyone joining us, chilling with us out here. You know what I mean? Thank you for coming through. Mojini, thank you for being with us again. As always, we let the people know where they can find you.
They can find me at Moji Osman on YouTube. I'm here, man. I haven't done a video in a while. Took a little bit of a break because the show was on a break, but I will be getting back into doing videos. It won't just be Game of Thrones. It'll be a whole bunch of culture stuff because I'm part of the culture, baby.
No doubt, no doubt. If you like the way we do this, please thumbs up this, please spread this across the realm, and please subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.